Former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich spent this afternoon at a place he came to know very well, the Dirksen Federal Courthouse. But this time it was by choice. He's taking legal action against the state. Amanda Vinicky joins us now with more. Amanda, why is he back in court?
Harris, you make an important distinction there. It is by choice. Also, this time he was alone. The last time he was at the courthouse, it was with a phalanx of attorneys, onlookers, journalists too. And that was, of course, when he was convicted of a series of corruption charges, including attempted extortion and conspiracy to commit bribes.
I've never had much luck in this building to begin with, but I'm going to try. There are significant constitutional issues involved here. Issues like the weaponization and the politicization of prosecution and impeachment, and the criminalization of the necessary legal and routine practices that take place in government and politics all the time.
Now, Blagojevich spent nearly 8 years in prison, that is up until February of 2020, when then President Donald Trump commuted his sentence. Now, the complaint that Blagojevich self-filed this afternoon would allow him to return to his previous occupation, that of politician. Blagojevich isn't really seeking to lift his criminal convictions, though he denies any wrongdoing. Rather, he's seeking to essentially overturn part of what happened in 2009 in Springfield, when legislators impeached and removed him from office. And at that time, the Illinois Senate also took a vote saying that Blagojevich could never again run for state or local office in the state of Illinois. It's that ban that Blagojevich now wants lifted. His complaint alleges that preventing him from running outweighs any harm that could be caused by denying the voters the right to vote for or against him in a free election. House GOP leader Jim Durkin was the top Republican on the Special House Investigative Committee that impeached Blagojevich back in 2009, an action that he says Blagojevich deserved for repeatedly putting up the office of governor for sale.
Whether it was selling the U.S. Senate seat, shaking down hospital executives, forcing a pay-to-play operation with legislation, the list goes on. And he was convicted. His convictions were upheld by the appellate court, the Supreme Court. And I've heard enough about Rod Blagojevich.
But Blagojevich is back now, alleging that he wasn't allowed to call during those impeachment proceedings all relevant witnesses, nor, he says, was he given the opportunity to present all evidence, including an airing of FBI wiretaps of his conversations that, by the way, still remain secret. Now, Durkin calls those allegations an outright lie.
You can't complain about lack of process when you don't participate. So he waived every right that he is now claiming that he was denied.
I called former federal prosecutor Jeff Kramer for his legal take.
Now, this is interesting. What he says, he wasn't able to call certain witnesses and therefore was denied due process of law. And if it was in a court of law, if it was in the federal Dirksen building, that would be a good argument because, as we all know, defendants have the right to call witnesses. However, this was not a criminal proceeding. It was not a legal proceeding. It was a political decision.
And an impeachment is inherently a political process. Kramer says it will be an uphill battle for Blagojevich. Still, he says, there may be a path for the former governor.
If there was a political system that said certain people can't run for office, we would all say, well, that's outrageous. It denies somebody their due process. So there is a certain level where it reaches a federal, civil rights violation, if you will, or due process right, which is basically what he's arguing.
Now, if Blagojevich is successful in this civil rights complaint, the question of whether voters would ever take him back is another one entirely. Blagojevich says he is running, well, as in jogging. He's long been a jogger, but he is not ruling out running for office in the future, though he says he has no particular plans to do so.
I have no plans to run for any particular office. The idea of doing all that again is really is a kind of an unhappy thought in many ways, because it's a hard business and it's hard on your family. And what happened to my family has been very difficult. So it's not that I have any specific plans. However, I'm not going to rule out any options either. I feel like I was a great governor for the people. I did things for people.
But Durkin says he stands by the previous General Assembly's action, saying that they went out of their way, yes, to dot their I's and cross their T's with the impeachment process, but also to protect future Illinoisans from Blagojevich.
We thought it was a good idea. I mean, we have, Illinois has a long history of corruption at the highest levels with governors. And we are now, we passed a law back then in which we finally said enough's enough, that and we were worried about a guy like Rob Blagojevich, who's so driven and has such an egomaniac that he would continue to fight his conviction.
Durkin says that Blagojevich is and always was a showman, and he suspects that this is just another way for the former governor to get back in the limelight after maybe some of the media attention has worn off. And that may well be what this is all about. ABC had a lot of cameras at this afternoon's press conference outside that Dirksen federal courthouse, and a crew member said that that is anticipation of a documentary on Blagojevich set to air this fall. And well, this gives them some extra footage and content. Paris, back to you.
All right, Amanda, it appears the former governor returning to his publicity-seeking ways. Thank you very much.